I just returned from Chicago, and we were there for 6 nights or 7 days and spent $1,200. Now, the biggest part of that $1,200 was the kennel. I did round up all the numbers or round them down. Kennel was almost $400. We have one dog. Kennels are very pricey, and we did have a bath for her because she always smells after being in the kennel. We could have cut out the bath and saved about $37. Our next biggest charge was food. That was $465. We have an IHG credit card that at the time, I believe, gave us around 100,000 points. We had 60,000 left. It took the whole 60,000 points for 2 nights in Chicago. The hotel, it was the Holiday Inn Express. It runs about $330 a night plus taxes. If you pay out of pocket, it'd be almost $400 a night. So we saved $800 there. Now, that came with a free breakfast, and we would take maybe a piece of fruit for lunch. Plus, we also pack a lot of nuts because nuts are easy to pack and they're good protein. They last forever. We have little containers, so we pack a water bottle, nuts, and a piece of fruit, and that holds us over with the big breakfast until dinner. Dinner, we do go cheap because there's a lot of affordable places. We didn't go super cheap. I mean, it was about $50 a dinner for... we did eat a lot of Chicago pizza. In New York, they have pizza stands where you could just get one piece. We do like to try to get salads and such, so we did get off of our diet. That is one bad thing. In being cheap, we did get off of our diet. We do often get hotels where you can cook, but we find that we're lazy and we don't really cook on vacation. So we ate generally a lot of pizza, but it was about $50 a night, and we did have a lot of desserts, which tend to be $14 for a dessert. So food was $465. We also did go stay at my sister's house for 4 nights, and they did cook one night, and they actually bought a pizza one night, which was really affordable. It was only about maybe $27 for one pizza. And we drink water. We drink water for health reasons mostly. I used to drink soft drinks, but if you look at the sugar content there, that's more sugar than you should have an entire day. Once I learned that, I got rid of soft drinks. We also got rid of alcohol as a health thing too. I did a long video on why I no longer drink. I'll put that in the description if you want to watch why I no longer drink. Drinking is quite costly. I think one drink is probably $15, just a rough guess in the city. It's probably 10 to 15. I didn't really price them, but the waitresses did seem a little bothered when we didn't drink alcohol. So I knew they were quite pricey, really adding up the tips. Now, the next biggest cost would be entertainment. We did not go to any shows because we saved those for Atlanta because we have the Fox Theater. Want to see any shows. We do the same in New York because Fox is so outstanding here in Atlanta. We figure we want to do things that you can't do in Atlanta. Yeah, maybe the dancers are slightly better in New York or Chicago. I don't know. Atlanta's pretty impressive. I couldn't tell the difference if they are. They have some pretty good dancers and singers in Atlanta. So we just stick to the Fox. So we don't do those high-end things like the Chicago Theater. If there were somebody there we wanted to see, we would have splurged, and that would have been probably $400. So that would have been a big chunk of our budget. That would have pushed us over towards $2,000 for the week, which we would have done. If it was somebody who we liked, we probably would have taken transportation because we wouldn't want to walk around in the dark, even though it was fairly close to our hotel. For safety, we would have taken Lyft or Uber. So that would have added about $500 to our cost. But again, we're not being cheap. We just did not see anybody there. There's only one person there, and we were not interested in whoever it was. I don't even know. I didn't even know who it was. I had never heard of that person before. So if we want to do something, we will splurge and do it. We are older now, and we have been frugal our entire marriage. Well, I have to say we did splurge a few times in the marriage. More Steve than me. As I think in general, I think maybe men spend more money than women, just a generality. You tell me if you think more women spend money. I guess it does depend on the person, but just overall, I think men might like the expensive cars or golfing or something, and a woman might get her hair done or get nice shoes or clothes, but they're not going to be the cost of a new car, especially every couple of years. You let me know. Do you think men spend more money or more women? So our entertainment was quite cheap because we love learning, we love museums, we love just seeing new things. So we went to a museum. Steve is a senior, so he got the senior price. We went to see Flyover. Which my brother had a ticket for himself and one ticket for us, and he told us it was $30. When we paid, we were only charged $20. The woman didn't say why, and I looked on the website and it didn't say they had a senior discount. I don't know. I'm assuming it was a senior discount, but I mean, I guess I could have been the free ticket and Steve got the senior discount. But I don't know. So that was only 20, and that was really great. It's only a 12-minute video, but it was really outstanding. Just walking around, seeing the architecture, there's a lot of Frank Lloyd Wright there. It's just amazing, just the scenery and the people, just so much to see. And so they do have some free days there for activities. The Lincoln Park Zoo is always free, and the Conservatory is well worth it. I mean, I could have gone through that a couple of times. You do have to get tickets for a set time, and my sister and her husband were waiting on us, but I honestly could have walked through that again. It was just so beautiful. So that zoo is free, and you know, you can maybe pick up lunch at a grocery store or something and take your lunch, and then we brought water bottles with us, so we carried water around and just hanging out. There's a lot of people just laying around by the lake, riding their bikes, walking. Just fascinating just to see the different places, see the tunnels going to the lake, seeing the buildings. There's shopping that you could just go window shopping. You don't actually have to buy. If we had time, we would have done that. Balleys was close by. And we planned on going by there, but we actually ran out of time. They give you, I think, $25 free per person. So that would have been $50. And it probably would have lasted about 10, 15 minutes. But we were going to do that, but we just ran out of time. So there is so much to do. There's so much to do. And then my brother, he took us out to some places. My brother loves to drive, so he drove us all the way to Bolo, which I've never even heard of, which has a bog. And then there was a windmill up in Geneva, and he just drove us all over the place. I'm fortunate to have a big brother who was willing to do that. He really went out of his way to show us a good time. So, and he also told me that Frontier has a deal with flights that you can fly anywhere you want for a year for $600, and I had never heard that. So he's thinking about getting that, and I was like, wow, I wish you told me before we got our dog, but now we're at home for a while because we've got a puppy coming in a month. So if I know, I'm talking about going to Costa Rica, which we would love to go to Costa Rica. Of course, that vacation is not going to be $600 or $1,200. That would be pretty costly. But as I was watching this retirement couple I watch all the time, Tina and Norm, they were saying, you've been saving for 30 years, now it's time to spend. We're not retired, but they have a point. You've been saving this money for just this purpose, to travel and have some fun, to let go and do it. And so yeah, I know we want to travel more. We have been doing mostly local travel. We haven't flown since before the pandemic. This was our first flight in years, and that does really add up to that really adds on to the cost of paying for parking, paying for the shuttle from the airport to where we were going. So transportation was the next biggest cost, $185. A big part of that was the shuttle from the airport to the hotel, which we could have taken public transportation, but we thought it might rain, and to be taking all that luggage. I mean, and we even talked about walking a mile with our luggage, which I think we can both do because we are walkers. but we thought it was gonna rain. So we did take a Lyft, which was $60. And then the other biggest cost of transportation was parking our car in Atlanta, which was $100. And then my brother paid for tolls. My brother and sister both paid for tolls and gas for some of the other travel, and we took them to dinner separately. We took them each, my sister and brother-in-law and brother, to dinner to help offset those tolls and gas that they paid for. Okay, so the flight, even though the flight was free, did end up costing $25 for some taxes we had to pay for. And lastly, we bought some souvenirs, some just cheap souvenirs for $50. We got my son a little magnetic bean, which is more sentimental than anything, because after my father died, we came and stayed in Chicago at Christmas time because we had always spent every Christmas with him, and it was really hard. Went up to Chicago, and my brother insisted we go see the new bean. He told us he had a car big enough for 5. There was me, Steve, and our 2 kids. Well, when he picked us up, I think it was a 2-seater. I think he had a 2-seater. I don't know. Me and the 2 kids had to sit in the back. All I remember is I could not get out of the car when we got to the bean because my legs were they were folded over in that back seat. I could not straighten my legs and walk. And then I saw that bean and I said, "Are you kidding me? I can't walk for this?" I was not impressed. Now it's been an icon. It's in every movie. It's in every TV show. It's a iconic thing for Chicago. It's a whatever. I think the gentleman statue should be the new bean. I think people should be going out to see that. That should be in every movie. I like the gentleman statues. Those were cool by the Chicago River. So we had an hell of a time, had a great time in Chicago, $1,200. We actually originally wanted to go to New Mexico, and the flights there, even with our points, were gonna be like thousands of dollars. We didn't know what the heck's going on in New Mexico, that it would cost so much. And then we found out Chicago was totally free, and we said, okay, we're going to Chicago. By watching our money, we're able to do more. And I know everybody has everybody watches money on some things, but they always have a big thing to spend their money on. And everyone's is different. You could drink, you could eat out, you could travel, you could spend it on your dogs, your cats, your RV, whatever. Everybody may be tight in one area, but they spend money in another area. So it's just whatever is important to you. So our big expenditures will be our dog. She's going to be quite costly. We have been looking for 6 months, and we have to buy all those little dog things again, her collar and leash and bowls and shots and all that. So that all adds up. So no more traveling for a little bit for us, but you will see Sammy on a daily basis, see her grow. She's about this big right now. She's this big, and she's only gonna get to 10 pounds. We chose a smaller dog as we aged, someone who's easier to handle after we took care of Ava, our daughter's dog, for 8 months. She was solid and muscle like Sierra, and they can overpower somebody who gets older, and we didn't want to fall, break a bone, or pull your rotator cuff. I heard that's quite common as you get older, that dogs really hurt you by pulling on their leashes. So we chose a small dog as we age. So look out for Sammy, and I hope you get a credit card offer where you can travel and have some fun, because it is hard, it's challenging to do anything in entertainment, but there are free things. I just enjoy spending time with my family and playing games. I enjoy hiking, walking. We bought the AHS, or the American Horticultural Society membership, for only $50, and we've been to 2 places already. The first one, the Atlanta History Museum. Has already almost covered it, because that's $24, and it was $50 for the membership. That almost covered it. And then the Chicago Botanic Garden pushed us over to now. Everything's free. That's anything we go to from this point on. So we'll be going to visit some gardens. As long as it's not too hot. It is getting brutally hot here in Atlanta. It's getting hard to even get out of the house these days. That's how hot it is. I hope Steve will be in some of these videos. He's so busy working, and his days off are so sporadic, and it's hard for him to do this. but he's gonna be on our anniversary video. So until we see you again, take it easy.